What is going on, everybody? Hopefully, you all had a fantastic draft weekend.
Hey, let's
It was
go.
exciting. I know I wasn't able to be here to join any of the festivities, but I was watching, and I came away from this draft incredibly pumped. And I don't know, man. I'm excited. I'm excited. How was the draft weekend for you?
It
I know
was
you were busy. You were busy.
Yeah. It was definitely busy. It was great though. I mean, we couldn't ask for a better first round. We're gonna dive into it in a little bit here, and we got grades on all of these players, and we're gonna give you our overall grade. One thing I do want to mention, since Casey was gone, one thing I'm excited about today's podcast is because Casey was gone all weekend, so I didn't have much time. We didn't really discuss what happened at this draft, so this is kind of our first time giving each other our thoughts on this whole draft and everything. So I'm excited to see where Casey's at with this, with JJ McCarthy, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, it was busy for me. Thursday night, we, of course, and I'm sure everybody in here, I'm pretty sure everybody in here was there, but we had, of course, our draft party and everything that was 3 hours long. Went fantastic. Caught a decent buzz, I would say. I think other people would probably say that as well. So, I mean, always ends up good. And then the next day, I was on Bleacher Report for like 4 hours for the day 2 of the draft, which is round 2 and 3s, and we had no picks, so I was just chilling for 4 hours. Still went good, and then bunch of other Bleacher Report streams. It was a busy weekend, busy weekend, but it was a good one, and I'm pumped with everything that we've done so far. Sean Payton. Hey, what up, Bandito? Sean Payton is still a certified clown. Oh, dude, 100%. Yeah. Speaking of this, let me do some shout outs here because we got our guys. I know everybody in here is excited for what happened. And I mean, maybe if you weren't a fan of JJ McCarthy, I don't know, maybe we won't see you tonight. I think we will, regardless.
We will happen eventually.
I think some people will kind of feel a little bit different, but
I think one of my coworkers who told me last week he did not want JJ McCarthy under any circumstances told me today. I'm coming around a little.
Hey, that's what we got to do. You got to get behind your quarterback at least for now. Like, there's no question. You got to. I mean, there's a lot to like, and we're gonna dive into it in a little bit here. So I don't want to go too crazy, but we got our boy SKOL Mafia in the building. I've never been so sure about something in my life. He's gonna be unbelievable here. SKOL Mafia, I'm not surprised that is your take, JJ McCarthy take right there. George Blunt, JJ is going to benefit from the Viking system, organization, and surrounding talent. I'm excited about our undrafted free agent picks as well, especially cornerback from Arkansas and defensive end from Air Force and UCLA. Oh, yeah, dude, we hit on undrafted free agents again. We'll dive into that too. What up, George Blunt, by the way? We got both the Garys, Gary Olsen in the building. What's up, Gary Olsen, and our guy, Gary in the building. What up, Gary? And Dan in the building. SKOL, everybody. Who else am I missing here? We got the hashtag SKOL. We're getting into that in the second here. Russell in the building. We got what we wanted. Let's get to work. Hey, let's do it, man. Let's do it. I'm pumped. So anyways, before moving on though, since I am actually, so where I'm at with these cards is I kind of ran out of them up until this draft week. I give all of them hey, there's Too Evil. Too Evil loves the JJ pick. I know that for sure. Anyways, so I ran out of cards. I did decide what I'm going to do is I'm working on a bunch of JJ McCarthy cards. It will be Michigan, obviously. He just got his number today, which is exciting. He did get number 9. We'll talk about that, I guess, probably in a little bit here. But what I'm going to do, and I know I did this before, but since I'm out of Viking cards, there is a player that is probably has the biggest rise in value in this last week or so, and he is another Minnesota sports player, and we're going to run the Anthony Edwards rookie card today.
Wow,
this guy is a superstar. Anyone that's a Minnesota fan in here, not just a Viking fan, anyone in a Minnesota fan in here, we got ourselves a next face of a franchise in Anthony Edwards, and we're going to run this rookie card tonight. So get the hashtag SKOLs in the comments, like the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Anthony Edwards, by the way, and the Timberwolves taking down Phoenix Suns in 4 for the sweep. Let's go. super excited about that. And that's why we
If
got to
Dylan
give
was
away the
here,
start.
he'd be shaking in his boots knowing the Wolves are coming for him next.
Oh yeah,
We'll
yep.
talk once he's in here. We'll talk about it. I'm sure if he
Yeah,
shows
I'm
up,
sure if
we'll
Dylan
let
pops
him
in,
know.
he'll
We'll
know
let
for
him know.
sure.
We'll
He'll
let
be
him know.
shaking in his boots for sure. But yeah, get those hashtag skulls in the comments, all that good stuff. Like the video, subscribe. Y'all know what to do. Anyways, so should we just jump right into the grades and everything, or
Let's do it.
what do
Why
you have
not?
anything else to say prior to that?
Nope.
All right, let's
Anything
just
I'll have
jump
to
right in.
say will come up when we start talking about these guys. So
Hey, Richard's on a roll lately, everybody. Richard's on a roll. He won last week. He won one of the Ivan Pace Jr. autos, which is on its way, by the way, Richard. So y'all have to watch out for this guy because this guy's on a heater. Anyways, so starting off with no other than pick number 10, JJ McCarthy. And this is when things are going to get fun because instead of us going into this draft, a lot of us had us thinking like maybe we'd trade 3 first-round picks for Drake May. And if not, maybe we'd have to trade 2 first-round picks to go grab JJ McCarthy. I think there was a lot of people who thought those were kind of the options. And maybe some of us were like, maybe there's that chance he could fall to us at 11 or whatever. But that was probably not going to happen. And we could keep our 23rd. Well, guess what? It's almost exactly what happened. JJ McCarthy does drop. Michael Penix Jr. gets picked up before we go too far, let me jump in here because before we go too far with this JJ McCarthy stuff, because we might as well go in order here. The quarterbacks went exactly how we expected it. Big surprise at number 8 with the Falcons grabbing Michael Penix. What was your thoughts on that, Case?
okay, I told you Michael Penix was not going to get out of the first round, but for him to go at pick number 8 to the Falcons isn't nuts. And
But I'm like, time.
the way they tried to explain it is like, we got to think for the future, yada, yada. When you spend $180 million on a quarterback, you're not thinking for the future. You need to be thinking for now. And the fact that they weren't able to get a playmaker to put with him or a defender to put on the other side of the ball, to me, is defender. Just like, in a way, I get it. You want to have that next quarterback learning under a guy like Kirk who can develop and eventually take over, especially since Kirk, 2 years of guaranteed money after that, not as much. But I mean, but at the end of the day, it's mind-boggling to me that you take him at pick number 8. Like, you could have traded back a couple of spots and still probably gotten him, plus gotten more draft capital. And you just go in and just take it. Like, no, like, no. Grabbing Penix, like, again, I like Michael Penix, first round pedigree for sure. I think the Raiders would have taken him at the very least if he made it there. But to take him at 8, that's insane to me.
And I get it. Like, if you really, really, really like a quarterback, it's like, all right, if you think this guy could be your future at the position and you are not, it doesn't make any sense for you to go get Kirk Cousins because even though everyone says, hey, they haven't out on Kirk Cousins in 2 years, it doesn't mean that's what they wanted to happen.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like, they're expecting him to be here longer. They're hoping he plays well enough in those 2 years, paying him $45 million a year to be here longer than that. So grabbing Penix without doing something that helps this team get better. And I was actually Chris Sims. I was watching. He was talking about it, and I was watching, which was funny because
was this drunk Chris Sims or?
Dude, honestly, I think he still was drunk from Thursday. I'm pretty sure he might have been because that dude was lit up when I saw his live stream. But I think he was still a little drunk because I don't know. But he did make a really good point about Penix though, because he was saying, well, now you're sitting here, and of course with Kirk Cousins, you got Michael Penix. Looking now, Kirk Cousins is going to be looking over his shoulder with Penix right behind him. And if Penix comes in, and you're talking about a quarterback that's going to be one of the most pro ready of anybody in this draft, so him and Bo Nix probably is what people are thinking. So I mean, you got those type of players, and you're gonna if he comes in and he's really impressing. Now Kirk Cousins has to worry about a player coming up on him, all that kind of stuff. But the big one for me was like, all right, wouldn't it have made sense? This is what Chris Sims says, is like, why'd you even get Kirk Cousins? Because now if you've been able to get a Daniel Hunter and a Christian Wilkins for that price tag, and you could have drafted Michael Penix, now you would have had him, and you would have had 2 already proven really good defenders in the NFL. So that was the big one that I saw. So it's regardless, whatever way you twist it, even if it is hey, we think he could be our future, we're going to set up for later, it still doesn't make a ton of sense to me as far as you could have made your team better now if that was the plan the whole time. And then you still were able to get some defensive players in free agency.
Yeah, for sure. So either way,
Hey, what up, Howard?
mind-boggling. Don't understand it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway, let's jump back
let's
into
get into talk about our guys,
McCarthy. Yeah,
guys
yeah, yeah.
we got.
Anyways,
I'm
yeah,
super
back
excited.
to where we were at here. So obviously the mind-boggling, insane, probably the dumbest pick I've seen in a long time, grabbing Michael Penix Jr. It did help allow JJ McCarthy to fall to 10. Us obviously trading up the 4th and 5th pick to grab JJ McCarthy instead of giving the Broncos the try or Oakland the try, even though whatever Sean Payton said, I guess, hey, if he likes Bo Nix, whatever, I guess. I'm glad we got JJ McCarthy. He was our guy at that position. I'm not afraid for them to just go get him. You still had Oakland behind you too. There's other teams you were worried about as well. So I think for us to go do that, to me, it was easily worth a 4th and 5th when you're looking at this guy to lead your franchise for years to come. I guess, what was your thoughts on just the trade in general and trading up in that whole Broncos situation?
Right. So Sean Payton, like how about now set up there? F Sean Payton. Like his whole thing after, like, oh yeah, I was one of the guys that was key on us pretending like we were trying to trade up. Like, no. And then I know Benjamin Albright, writer for the Broncos, said that, oh, Bo Nix was their number 3 on their draft board at quarterback the whole time. Like, no. This is Sean Payton. When it matters, he cannot beat the Vikings. It was another instance of that. He's butthurt. Unless he's cheating, of course, in the Super Bowl or in the NFC Championship game. Sean Payton's an idiot. They wanted better than Bo Nix. They definitely settled there. It is what it is. But the pick in general with McCarthy and the trade, I love it. So here's the thing with Kwesi, right? Like everybody was saying, we were kind of in agreement. 2 firsts for McCarthy. We would have done it. The fact that you were able to sit there at 11, let these picks go, trust the fact that we're even now because the Giants didn't draft McCarthy. The Falcons took Penix instead of McCarthy. You're sitting there, and at 11, I don't fault Kwesi for trading up that one spot. Sure, you gave up a 4th and a 5th rounder to move up there, and you got a 6th back. At the end of the day, I don't care about any of that. You were able to secure your guy, make sure nobody else was able to jump you and go get him. You got JJ McCarthy. I understand. I appreciate the fact that it sounded like Kwesi was all in on trying to grab Drake May. He offered 3 first-round picks and a couple of swaps. Didn't work out. Adam Schefter said today they didn't include Justin Jefferson's name in any of those. No shit. I mean, you shouldn't have. Everybody who thought we were trading Justin Jefferson, I'm sorry. It was never going to happen. We all knew that. Some people wanted it to. Not very smart thinking there. It was never in the cards, never going to happen. But the fact that he was able to be patient, trust his gut, stick there, trade away 2 mid-round picks, move up 1 spot, and get your guy of the future. I love it. And what goes hand in hand with it is I think they're going to play this super smart because the report came out as well that Kevin O'Connell has a plan for the each quarterback that they want to draft. He had a plan for. And with this one, there's going to be certain benchmarks that he needs to hit day by day throughout OTA's training camp. And if he doesn't hit those, he's not. I mean, like they're going to give him every opportunity to win the starting job, but there's a list of things that he needs to get done before he gets consideration for that. I think that's perfect. Like I don't care if Sam Darnold starts. I don't care if Sam Darnold sucks. If you don't, I know the fan base is going to be pushing for McCarthy to start if it gets to that point. But trust your gut. Follow your plan as it comes to developing your quarterback. This is going to be your guy. This is going to be the guy that might allow Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell to keep their jobs for longer if it pans out. I don't care what happens. Trust your plan. If your plan isn't to fruition yet, don't push him out there. It sounds like they've done a bunch of studies on how quarterback goes. I absolutely love this. I think it's a great pick. It's a great spot for JJ McCarthy. He said in his press conferences after that every quarterback he talked to wanted to come to Minnesota, and it makes sense. Perfect spot for him. I think we're gonna develop him perfectly. Get Justin Jefferson signed. I love this pick. The trade was great, and we'll get into the next guy in a bit here. It allowed you to make that move as well. Kwesi played this first round magnificently, and I know people are going to be, I know Mel Kiper's grade wasn't great. He gave us like a C+ or a C+, C-, even it might have been because of, we got rid of depth because they traded away all their mid-round picks, and especially they traded more mid-round picks to get their next guy. But at the end of the day, you were able to secure 2 premium players in the first round. all it cost you was some mid-round picks, and everybody got and that was the big thing with Spielman. Like, oh, he's never aggressive. He just trades back and accumulates more late picks. And we never do anything with him. They turn out to be nobody. And now that we have a GM that gave away those picks to go up and secure 2 starters, people are upset about it. So I don't know. I think he played it absolutely perfect. The trades, like, again, I don't care about giving up some mid-round picks if you're able to go and snag 2 players like we got in the first round. To me, does not matter. I don't care that we have 3 picks going into next year. We kept our 2025 first. Kwesi was masterful. I think Kwesi played off that first round perfectly. A lot of talking, a lot of rambling.
Hey, I did a lot of talking already, so I was letting you kind of take the floor here. But
I think I've kind of hit everything I wanted to there. I like the trade. I appreciated him wanting to make a move. At the end of the day, he stayed pat. Still got a guy that they were high on, and there's a plan in place for getting him ready to be the future franchise quarterback of this football team.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be more excited.
And I do want to say actually one thing before we go before here, because we got our boy Steve in the house. It seems like he's happy about the Packers draft. I'm just trying to think how many times we'll sack McCarthy. I'm just wondering how many times Dallas Turner's going to sack Jordan Love with them grabbing a 3rd round offensive lineman in the first round. That's my question, because to me, that was almost that was like the outside of the Penix thing. I think the Packers pick in the first round was my biggest surprise in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so the reason why these grades here, I made these grades prior. So these are like more of my grades than Casey's grade. Casey, what would you end up grading this?
I would give it an A for sure.
And I gave it an A+, and just to talk about what Casey mentioned, the big thing for me is obviously you're getting a guy that, talent-wise, I think you could say that big question mark he has, I think could be a little bit debate whether he's worth a top 10 pick or not. But from our perspective, from a fan perspective, we like JJ McCarthy a lot. We liked him enough to say, like, hey, if they went into this draft and JJ McCarthy's their guy, we're okay with them giving away both first round picks to get him. And since we got him without doing that, 4th and 5th round pick, whatever, it is what it is. It'd be nice to have that depth there. But at the same time, I mean, how often does a 4th and a 5th round pick even end up working out anyways? It doesn't happen a lot. Doesn't happen a lot. So for me, I think us getting the guy that we wanted with keeping our other first round pick and next year's first round pick makes this an easy A+ for me. And then, of course, digging into JJ McCarthy a little bit deeper here. Everybody knows he's a winner. That's one thing we all knew, was he went 27-1 for Michigan, only lost that one game, won the national championship last year, won championship, and I think he only lost like 2 games in all of his high school career too, ended up winning a championship there, has all the physical traits that you want in a quarterback. Some people were questioning his arm strength at one point. He came in and had the 2nd highest velocity behind, which was still insane, behind Milton with 61 at the combine. And then his pro day, he showed that he has all the arm talent or at least all the arm you want and some talent there. Some of those balls were a little wobbly, whatever. That's something that he can work with, and KOC can also help him with, because these are traits that can be fixed and can be taught. Arm strength cannot be taught, and he has that. His leadership, another thing that probably could be taught, but he is a natural leader. I think all of us kind of know. Everybody's coming out and all his teammates talk about how good of his leader is. Jim Harbaugh's come out, talked about how great of a leader is, and that all he wants to do is win. And he is willing to, I think one thing I actually saw today with KOC was they were in their conversation they had. I don't know if it was at the combine, but JJ said, I'd run through a wall for you or whatever. Like, that just shows you, like, he just met KOC, and now he loves KOC, like, ever since the draft. Like he said,
and a lot of quarterbacks did, from the sounds of it.
Yeah. Well, he said they asked him why he wanted to come to Minnesota as his main team. And obviously there's a lot of reasons why. JJ, the wide receiver court in general, Darius, whatever it is. And he said KOC. And that's what he said. I run through a wall for KOC. And KOC, of course, the classiest answer back is like, if I make you run through a wall, for me, it's my fault. Of course, KOC says that, and it's the best answer. And that's why KOC is such a good head coach, at the very least, from a leadership standpoint. And you're getting that same type of leadership out of JJ McCarthy. So I think it works perfect for us. And then obviously played in a pro style offense. of course, you can argue he played in a Jim Harbaugh offense that was run first. But still, he's going to come in here and already kind of have an idea of what it's like to play in the NFL in that kind of offense. Not to mention, I think one of their offensive play callers or something like that actually was taking some of the plays and playbook out or like ideas from KOC's offense. So I'm pretty sure he's even got to work with some of those type of ideas, which is huge for him. Confident in and out of the pocket. In my opinion, out of every single quarterback that I watched in this draft, I felt like he was the most confident in the pocket. I felt like he handled pressure better than any of them. I guess you could say maybe not as much as Caleb Williams, but I felt like he looked more confident in there. He kind of has that sixth sense thing that you want from your quarterback, something we didn't have in Kirk Cousins, where he can just feel pressure and escape the pocket and be able to throw dimes on the run well under pressure. That's another big one from him there. Also, not to mention, I think he led I know for a fact that he led college on third down conversions. I'm pretty sure I think he led in completion percentage. I think he led in passer rating. Obviously, a lot of short passes, all those kinds of things as well. But still, I love how he looks inside and outside of the pocket. And then, we already mentioned it earlier. The big question mark was really, is he going to be a game manager? He was kind of that game manager for Michigan. Is he going to be that type of guy for the Vikings? And that's the big question. But can he really open up an offense that he wasn't able to show? One thing, I'll let you kind of answer some of these, but one thing that he did say in an interview with, what's his name? I can't think of the guy that ran the 40-yard dash in the suit.
Isaac?
Yeah. Yep. He said on his show was that he wanted to open up the offense really bad. And that he talked to Jim Harbaugh and was like, he called him and he's like, hey, can we just like kind of open it up a little bit? And Jim was just like, hey, I'm telling you right now, like in the NFL, the best stat as a quarterback is win and losses, even though all the Kirk lovers want to act like that's not a stat. But hey, Jim Harbaugh is one of those people that do think so, and he has a lot of success anyways. But he told that to JJ McCarthy, and JJ McCarthy kind of took it in and was like, yeah, you're right, and all those kind of things. And he kind of like, I'm going to put this team in front of me and we're going to go win football games. And that's exactly what they did. But it does seem like JJ McCarthy is just, I think that's another reason why he probably loves KOC, is he's probably just, foaming at the mouth at this idea of being able to really put his skills out there and really show everybody what he has. And if he does, and if this is the case, this is who he becomes, is that type of quarterback who his ceiling is as high as any quarterback in this draft, in my opinion, if he comes out here and he's able to show that he can open up an offense, because he has everything else you could possibly want in a quarterback. That's the one question mark, but it's a big question mark. That's a fair point. But if he can answer that question mark, I think the possibilities are endless for this kid.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I'm ecstatic with the pick. I'm ecstatic about the way we got him. Yeah, man. I love that again. Props to Kwesi for standing pat, making a move when you felt like it was absolutely necessary at the end there. You moved up one spot. You didn't give up multiple picks or multiple first round picks. At the end of the day, that's a win in its own right. And now it's up to Kevin O'Connell to develop him. And like I said, there's a plan in place. Let's rock and roll, man.
Let's go. McCarthy. Hey, we got our friend. Hey, the first quarterback we picked in the top 10, JJ McCarthy, the future franchise quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. What's up?
But I'm going to segue into the next pick, because the fact that we were able to hold on to 23 brings us right into the next one here. This is the pick that, again, me and Jamie had kind of taken edge rusher off of our list of needs after the Van Ginkel and Grenard signings. And, obviously I would have been perfectly fine with sticking at 23, grabbing Johnny Newton and getting our defensive interior guy, our impact guy, and letting things rock out, especially with later on how the next rounds went. With Fiske went early in the second round. T'Vondre Sweat, PFF's drunk having him at 108th, or we picked him at 108 and it was a C+ grade. He went at 38 to Tennessee. Again, me and Jamie both had the idea that he wasn't going to be making it out of the second or third round. He wasn't going to make it to day 3. So really no defensive interior guys. Christian Boyd got taken a few picks before we drafted the kicker. So again, I would have liked to have added a defensive interior guy, but when I saw our names pop up on 17, I maybe thought it was going to be Newton at first. But when I heard Dallas Turner's name get read off that card, like, again, we have edge rushers on this team, sure.
Yeah.
But Dallas Turner, man, getting him at 17, a lot of people had him as their top defensive player on their draft boards. Obviously, Latu went before him as an edge rusher and then picked before we got him. Byron Murphy went. But a lot of people thought the Falcons were taking him at 8. The fact that we were able to hold on to our 23rd overall pick swap, and give away, again, more mid-round picks. I get it. It sucks giving up 3rd and 4th rounders for next season too, but basically to swap picks and give up mid-round picks to move up 6 spots and get a guy like Dallas Turner, who's 21 years old, and he's already shown us a ton, but he hasn't even reached his ceiling yet. Man, I think we're going to see a lot of three out linebacker sets with Grenard, Van Ginkel, and Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner has shown he can be versatile. He's rushed in the middle a couple times in college. Oh, when I saw this pick, man, I was absolutely just to the moon. First, I didn't even need to see the rest of the rounds just to know that
I know.
already a W.
This is an A.
Dallas Turner, I was exciting.
So would you give this? What would you give this for a grade?
A+. Absolutely.
So we had it kind of switch. I gave
first round pick swap and giving up some mid round picks, which again, people are mad. Oh,
I gave it, and I did feel like it, even though I think it's gonna be completely worth it. I did think it was. I think that was a lot to move up 6 spots. But that's the only reason why I came down to an A. Right. I still think it's going to be worth it.
And a lot of people can say that too. It's like, well, we're giving up future depth. But at the end of the day, like, again, I'll go back to the Spielman thing. Everyone got mad when all Spielman did was trade. I guess I get it. He traded down for 7th round picks. 3rd rounders are way different, right? Because 3rd rounders, you're probably going to get a guy who could potentially start year 1, for sure start year 2, those type of players. But like, again, like people got mad about all the times we trade back and just accumulate more picks. Like, I'm happy that Kwesi was aggressive. He went and got his guys, and the fact he was able to pull off this trade and go get Dallas Turner, which getting Dallas Turner at pick 17, and KOC said after, it's like we had a list of guys that if they made it to a point where we could make a move up, we were going to go ahead and do it. And that's what they did. They identified Dallas Turner. They made a move up to go get him. I'm pumped, man. I absolutely love this pick. Absolutely love it.
Before I kind of go
an impact day 1 under Flores.
Before I kind of go more into this, I do want to say on our poll for how would you grade JJ pick, we got 71% A, 24% B, and 5% said B for that. So, hey, I mean, most people gave that an A, which I'm not too surprised here. I did see Mateo's comment up here because I was thinking of you, Mateo, when we made this pick. The one I wasn't thrilled with was Dallas Turner was clearly talented. He's dirty as fuck. Hope he doesn't think he can. I remember you mentioning that prior to the draft. That's why I thought that was kind of funny. Hey, what up, SKOL TY? What up? Bandito, who else did I miss here? We got Sarah in the building. I don't know if I mentioned that before. Vikings Jerome with the A+. What's going on? Vikings Rome. Mike Sullivan in the building. Could have drafted Montgomery instead of a kicker. Then you let Detroit pick him. Yeah, there's a couple picks in that round. We'll get into it in a little bit later here, but welcome in. I do want to bring this one up again. I had the whole spiel earlier in the show that I don't have any Viking cards left at the moment. I'm going to work on a bunch of it's going to have to be Michigan because he just got his number today. Speaking of that, we didn't mention that earlier. He is number 9. He got his number 9. I don't know what that means for Tristan Jackson, but I think JJ McCarthy
is what it means.
Yeah, JJ McCarthy probably deserved it. But so instead of Vikings card today, we're giving away probably the card that is going up in value, the highest moving card probably out there right now in sports. And it's going to be rookie Anthony Edwards rookie card, the face of the NBA, the future face of the NBA. With the sweep against the Suns, that is our guy. We got ourselves an absolute superstar in Minnesota, a guy that we think could, I mean, man, like a LeBron, Kobe type of player potentially. That's saying a lot, but everybody's talking. That's not even my words. I'm taking it out of some big people's mouths, whatever. Mm-hmm. So get the hashtag SKOL in the comments, like the video, and subscribe for your chance to win an Anthony Edwards rookie card at the end of this show. Got to be here to win. Y'all already know that. But Anthony Edwards is the truth, and I'm super excited about that. Anyways, Vikings podcast. Let's get back into it with Dallas Turner. So obviously I gave it an A. I already told you why. I did think that was a lot to move up 6 spots, but at the same time, I I think it's easily worth it. On my side of it, I did not. As soon as I saw that trade in, even like if you look at my reaction on the draft party, I right away was like, it's Dallas Turner, and that's just because I was watching his fall. I
Right. And
like
him
in
getting
my
to 17 is insane.
yeah, it's
Asinine.
insane. I thought for sure he was our pick. We did a mock draft prior, right, with Dave, and we had him going at either Atlanta or Chicago. We had
Yeah.
him going there. We had him as the first defensive player off the board. I thought he was the best defensive player in this draft, specifically from a prospects, like where he's at now, including where he can go. 6'3", 250 pounds, maybe smaller for a defensive end / outside linebacker type of player, but runs a 4.4, 40-inch vertical. This dude's an absolutely freak athlete that you're getting here, and he already has enough production to show you that this kid's going to be a stud. You just add all that extra athleticism is just oozing potential, so you gotta love it. Had 11 sacks last year, 90 pass rush according to PFF. I already said insane athleticism. Draft's best defender in my opinion, and from the public standpoint, the favorite for defensive rookie player of the year. Did the acronym wrong completely, but whatever. Defensive player rookie of the year. And of course, that's the one thing about him is some people will want to come a one-trick pony, maybe a guy that's not very technical and kind of just uses his speed and bursts and everything to get to the quarterback. But this is what you have. Brian Flores, as we all know, is a masterclass, and if there's anybody that's going to get the best out of a kid like this, it is going to be Dallas Turner. And yeah, man, no, I'm just super excited about that pick. And I do think it is interesting, though, like you mentioned before, with Grenard and Van Ginkel. And man, that's why, like, that's the one thing. It was like, I kind of wish we would have got Christian Wilkins some way, somehow, just because our middle of our defense is set for a long time.
Yeah.
And with Dallas Turner, you're probably going to see some rotating. The positive thing with that, with him and JJ McCarthy, with Sam Darnold and everything he has on that offense, is both these players are going to be able to kind of come into this offense and defense in their own progression. Like, they don't have to jump in here and be pushed into a starting role right away, or a complete starting role. And I think with Dallas Turner, you're going to see him start obviously earlier. You're going to see a lot of him early. I'm assuming you should, but you will probably see him rotating behind Andrew Van Ginkel and Grenard, at least at first, and let him get accumulated to the NFL. But man, if you would have told anybody in here before the draft that we were going to come in and leave this draft with JJ McCarthy, Dallas Turner, and our next year's first round pick, I would have called you a liar for sure.
Right.
And
so
that's
basically,
exactly
at the end of
what
the
you
day,
did.
so basically, at the end of the day, we gave up 11 and 23 for 10 and 17. Then we gave up a fourth and a fifth this year. We got a sixth back and gave up a third, fourth, and fifth next year. Is that right? Or a third, fourth, and sixth next year?
Sorry, say that one more time.
So we traded away. So other than the swaps, we traded away a fourth, a fifth. We got back a sixth. And then we traded a third and a fourth next year as well, right?
Yeah. For all these picks. Yes.
Yeah. And we got two players out of it. But
and then of course,
a potential top 10 player in Dallas Turner, who we had talked about it. This draft was so offense heavy when it comes to quarterbacks, wide receivers, tackles, and that's exactly how we saw it go. The fact that we were able to get a guy like this at pick 17, and we talked about that. We knew that if you wanted a defensive player and you were picking second half of the draft, you were gonna be in luck, and you're gonna have your pick. Like, we could have traded up and taken Quinion Mitchell, who was the number one corner off the board. Good call on that one. But yeah, like, we could have made a move like that. But no, we went out. We got this move has Brian Flores' fingerprints all over it. And I loved when Kwesi goes, like, when they showed the draft room, and he goes, Dallas Turner, we're getting him. And KOC is just like, really? Like,
yeah. Oh, and it's a meme. It's a meme now. Like, he did not see the world where you leave this draft with JJ McCarthy and Dallas Turner. And that's the reason why, like, regardless of where KOC was at with his quarterbacks with Drake May, who knows how much he valued Drake May more than JJ McCarthy, who knows how much they were willing to give to get up to grab JJ McCarthy potentially. But one thing for sure is you got to feel like, damn, like, if it came up to it would like trade 3 first-round pick for Drake May or JJ McCarthy, Dallas Turner, and next year's first. I kind of feel like KOC at that point would be like, no, what? Let's rock with this.
Well, and
Because
Drake
this is
May, I feel
nice.
so bad. He's going to such a shit
I
situation.
know.
Like it's gonna suck for him. And that's honestly the thing. And
I know.
I saw a couple things we'll talk about. Sarah, right off the bat, F them picks, which is very true. And then I think I saw someone mention the cap space next year. It's like, look,
Yeah.
in like the trade value charts, does Quasi lose points wise? Probably. You did give up a lot. That was one of Mel Kiper's things. You're getting rid of depth, like whatever. But again, you're able to get 2 surefire like players who, I mean, JJ McCarthy, I guess you can't call him surefire yet, but he will. I have a good feeling about him. And you're able to get a guy like Dallas, and then you're able to get a guy like Dallas Turner.
Hey, Joey.
Exactly. Like, and yes, you're giving away those mid-round picks for depth. But now that because basically you're going to lock down you're going to lock down your starting receiver, your starting left tackle, you got guys on defense, and you're going to have your quarterback. Take that $100 million. You can spend that $100 million on another high-level starter and then depth. Like that's how you're going to fill out your rosters with that. And I saw someone, I think I was looking on Twitter or something, and someone's like, "Oh well, no team's ever built off just spending free agency money." It's like, but if you look at the cornerstones of this team, they're draft picks, right?
Yeah.
Like especially the offense.
You can in this scenario,
quarterback, wide receiver. I guess you traded for TJ, but quarterbacks, wide receiver, left tackle, cornerstones of your offense were draft picks. A lot of those guys on defense are going to be draft picks or value free agency signings. So this team is built by draft picks, and it's going to be supplemented by free agency money. And that goes starters and depth level pieces. So
exactly,
I think they did this perfectly. If I'm grading the first round as a whole, it's a definite A plus for me.
A plus,
like,
easy,
quarterback of the future, impact defensive player. Quasi said, F them picks. I don't care about the point thing.
Said, fuck those picks. That's what he said. He said, I heard him too. He said, fuck those picks.
Like, yes, he lost in the trade value charts. Are people going to judge him like he still doesn't know how to trade? Maybe. But 2 impact players, keep next year's first. You're going to have a ton of money to supplement your roster next year. A plus first round for me, man. The rest of the draft, draft didn't even need to happen.
Yeah.
I didn't even care about the rest.
I know. And you're talking about the 2 most important cornerstones of the 2 most important positions on each side of the ball with quarterback. Obviously, not just that side of the ball, not just in football, but the most important position in all of sports is the quarterback position. And then on the other side, a pass rusher is probably in today's NFL the most important position that you can have on that side of the ball. And you got cornerstones on each of them that could be here for the next 10 years and wreak havoc as far as Dallas. I mean, wreak havoc for both of them. So
yeah. I mean, as they say, Purple for the Win always says it's a passer and get the passer league, and that's exactly what they're doing here. The Patriots, it sounded like the Patriots wanted more. We offered them 3 first-round picks and then some swaps that said favored us, and the Patriots still weren't moving. I'm glad we did not do that. I legitimately believe the Patriots wanted 4 first-round picks. And again, good on Quasi for saying, fuck no. Yeah, we'll give you this. Otherwise, we have a different plan in place, and we're gonna go get it done. So,
dude, I love the plan that we took, man, because I think I really like. There's that big question mark about JJ, but you're taking a chance on a guy who, if he answers that question mark, he could be as good as we could ever wanted one of our quarterbacks to be, and he has everything else that we like in him. So super pumped about that.
This is a good point. This is definitely a good point here. Mel said it would take 3 first-round picks to get McCarthy. Then he gives us a C+ because we didn't use 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Mel's he's always, I feel like he always does us dirty, dude.
They did again, yes, giving up all those picks and potential like mid-round depth players, whatever. Don't even care. Quasi got aggressive, which is exactly what we wanted him to do. Yeah, but he didn't get overly aggressive. So he played the first round perfectly.
I'm happy. Yeah, I think we're all happy with how the first round rolled out there.
Definitely cooked. Definitely.
Yeah. And so for the poll, how would you grade the Turner pick? We had 76% says A, 24% had B. We had 6% D or F. Steve. Fucking Steve. I know that was you, Steve. With that D or F. Who else is in here? It's got to be a Packer fan. Hey, that's right, Jeremy. Hey, they're gonna ruin that poor kid's career. Him, Drake May, and then you got to feel for Penix too. So already an older quarterback, and then now you're gonna have to sit when you're probably thinking like, oh, I'm probably starting week 1 potentially.
Yeah. The math works out to that being like one person that voted D or F, so it's either going to be Steve or Too Evil because of JJ McCarthy.
He's just a good.
I don't know which.
Too Evil, you gotta like the Dallas Turner move though. You gotta like that one.
I love that Dallas Turner move, man.
Casey really likes that. I didn't realize he was gonna like it to that extent, but let's go. That's what we're
I
talking about
mean,
here.
you got the premier. Like I just like the reason that I didn't really think we needed him is because we had edge rushers. I was like, oh, we'll focus on defensive interior, but the fact that we were aggressive and realized like, hey, this guy's sliding and he's not gonna. And again, you traded up right above the Bengals, who at this point Trey Hendrickson still wants out, so they would have been a prime candidate to just snag him. So
Right.
you made a move up. You got what a lot of people thought was the top defensive player in the draft.
That was not me, I swear.
And here we are. Like, oh, I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. And let's keep going because I was still really like the next pick in the 4th round. And then after that, I kind of got just like, all right for me or whatever. And that is Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon, 6'4", about a buck 95, a little skinnier, but 6'4", you're going to get the size that we need on this defense because we do not have a lot of size in the secondary. You get that in Kyrie Jackson. Very solid athleticism. He ran a 4.5 at 6'4". I mean, we're going to take that all day. Plays physical in coverage and run. Yeah, when you watch this kid's tape, you're going to see the physical play on the outside. You know he can cover one-on-one. I think there's a couple technique issues that you want from him. He doesn't have tons of experience in like high-level college football, but he also is all over on the run. I believe someone said that he didn't miss a single tackle or something like that. And he's good. And he has a couple sacks as well. So he can rush the passer. The big thing with him, like I already said, not a ton of inexperience. He bounced around into community college and all that type of things. I think he even mentioned that he was working at a grocery store at one point. He got employee of a month. So, hey, I mean, if you can get employee a month at a grocery store, I feel like you can definitely put that kind of work in the NFL, making millions of dollars. So, I mean, hey, that's a plus. And then he was talking about that he was also trying to like go pro in 2K or something. Anyways, he had different plans because he's going to be a shutdown corner for the Minnesota Vikings, hopefully. But the big one for him through all his journey, he is 25 years old. So this is a guy that you kind of needed him to come in and hopefully you see a lot out of him right away and early.
Yeah.
And he showed a lot this past season. I know he had 3 interceptions. He had like us 80 PFF grade. We liked him a lot actually I think he probably would have been like our 6th cornerback out of the top in the top 10 outside of our 5. Yeah, no, we just love this kid. And that's why I give him a B+. I think Bleacher Report had him going as the 43rd ranked prospect actually. And there's a lot of people at him much higher than that. And I think if it wasn't for his age, he probably would have went in round 2, but we're just going to have to see something out of him right away because he's only going to age year on out. What's your thoughts on this pick, Casey?
Yeah, I think I would agree right there with the B+ grade. Like you said, because I remember when he got drafted, I texted you right away. I'm like, we liked Kyrie Jackson, didn't we? Like, and again, he's tall, lengthy. Love to see it. The top end speed isn't quite there. I think it was like a 4.5 40, so not awful. But obviously, like there's a reason he was drafted a little bit lower. The top end speed isn't quite there. I think I saw someone mention earlier, and I had heard that as well, that he might be a potential candidate to kind of get switched to safety. Maybe he ends up playing a Josh Metellus type role as well, kind of all over the place. Who knows? But
I think he's going to be I think he's going corner.
Right.
I think he's seen enough from
to start his career for sure. Later on, as he ages out, gets a little older, maybe then makes that switch. Sure. But I love the fact that he's tall. I know they said he plays a lot of man. He's a kind of a man cover corner, which obviously I think again, any defensive player, I just assume Flores has his hand in it saying, this is the guy I want. Because I know a lot of people are upset that we didn't take TJ Tampa, who we both also like coming out of Iowa State there.
I like this kid more, though. Based on tape, when we watched his tape, we did think he was better.
I love the size. I love everything about him. Again, the age, a little bit concerning. I think I saw someone on Twitter concerned, like, well, I don't really want a guy that's not going to be all in on football. But also, like, his time away from football came before he went to college, right? So he stepped away from football, refound his love for the game, came back to it. Now he's a 4th round draft pick. And the thing with our cornerback room is he's going to have a chance to make an immediate impact.
What up, dude?
Because we're lacking. I mean, obviously we have Byron Murphy, we have Shaq Griffin. That's cool. We have some younger guys who have been very up and down, but he's going to have a chance to make an impact right away on this team.
Dude. And that's what I hope. So I know. Hey, what up, Dylan? We were talking about you earlier because we can feel from Denver the shake in the boots that the Nuggets have, thinking about if they can even make it past the Lakers, of course, but thinking about the potential matchup against the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards. By the way, who we're giving away one of his rookie cards tonight. So get your hashtag SKOLs in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel. This dude's on the rise value wise, probably more than any other player in sports right now. Jamie, did you watch that JJ McCarthy? Oh yeah, dude, I watched that. I actually watched that prior to you sending it in there. I already seen it, and yeah, I mean, it was definitely good. I mean, he tapped in on a lot of things that JJ McCarthy does really well in the leadership and all those kinds of things. I know I keep forgetting his name. What's the dude's name again with the 40-yard dash? The 40-yard dash. 40-yard dash and the suit, the guy in the suit in the 40-yard dash.
Eisen.
Rich Eisen. I keep forgetting his name, but he's a big JJ McCarthy fan, so I know they were both kind of going back and forth on him. But no, I mean, hey, I think JJ McCarthy, he has everything you want. It's just really comes down to that one big question mark that we will not find out until we see him on the football field. Sure. And then I seen, who was, oh yeah, just to answer this though, I really question the Kyrie Jackson pick, just really weird story and background. It's tough though. I mean, I guess it's a weird story, but you've seen crazier stuff. Like, I mean, look at Crosby for the Raiders. A lot of defender got Crosby for the Raiders. I think it was, who's the longtime linebacker for Seattle? Maybe not. Was it Magner or Irving? They had Irving too, right? Bruce Irving, is that what it is? Yeah, he had a crazy background. A lot of these kids have a lot of background. It's not easy to get up, but if you have to look at it to some extent. Like if you are in like community college and stuff, and you make your way all the way to the NFL, I don't know. You see some of those guys succeed. A lot of times you don't. But for him to show what he did in his last season with Oregon and then to get drafted in the third round.
To tell Kwesi, you got the best corner in the draft, man. You'll see. He's confident.
GG, my guys. What up, Crown? What up, dude? It's been a minute, man. Casey, would you suck Kwesi's toe if it meant the Vikings? Oh, dude.
I wouldn't stop at his toes.
Yeah. It's like the whole Anthony Edwards kissing thing. Yeah, stop at the toes. Bro, for a Super Bowl dynasty? Yeah, in case you would do it for free.
Not free.
I mean, after that first round, that dude had, come on now. I think every single person in here would do that for free. Oh God. Hey, holy smokes, Jamie! Only took 1 year, and now your chest enters the room before your nose. Let's go. Hey, Ant's that guy, bro. Ant's that guy.
Anyway, I mean, again, 4th round pick. You see a lot of those fail. If it doesn't work out, whatever. If it does work out, but again, he's going to have a chance to make an immediate impact. You got to love the size and the way he plays.
Yeah.
The age is concerning, sure, but it is what it is. We'll see.
So let's see what we got here. As far as the grade from the chat, we got 24% said A, 35% B, 35% C, and 6% D or an F. We'll call that. I mean, that's about, I say around a B then, right? Yeah, we'd probably say around a B grade. Everyone has them at.
And a lot of it, and a lot of what this comes down to,
let's go,
is it's the people who, again, people that put in the work. They watch college football. They put together their draft lists, and it's someone who's like, oh well, TJ Tampa was there, and I had him graded quite a bit higher than Kyrie Jackson. Like that's a lot of people that don't like, because again, these are all just kind of dartboard stuff. Everybody's board is different, especially Kwesi's. Every GM's board is different from each other's, and every GM's board is different than what the fans want. So I think a lot of times when a fan sees a player they really want on the board, and your GM takes a different player, it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. And that's what you see on Twitter, all the people like, oh, how could they not take this guy? It's like, they didn't value him as high as this guy. That's all it is. Like, we're fans. We watch football. We put together who we like. Sometimes those opinions are different than the people that actually make the decisions. To call them wrong for that isn't right. To call them, again, everybody can have their own opinions on it, but I don't know. That's my thought process. Like, again,
it is true. It is true.
Stuff, it is what it is, man. That's where a lot of the negativity comes.
All I know is all I know is if a couple of these players we did like, if they turn out, I'm going to be pissed.
Like T'Vondre Sweat going
T'Vondre Sweat,
higher
I know.
than PFF had him
way higher. way higher than a lot of people had. I guess the D-dub didn't really matter much.
Right, exactly.
Um, all right, let's
Where you're
jump
at.
into the next one. So this is when things kind of get a little bit less, I guess. Walter Rouse. I mean, we don't really have to dive in too deep on these players.
And I think they're all going to kind of, because again, tackle over guard when there was, when there was a guy like Christian Boyd available again, I think they thought they could have gotten him later. Um, I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, again, we do need backup tackles because outside of Darisaw and O'Neal, you have Quesenberry, but you don't really have a lot there because obviously it sounds like Brandel, he's not really going to be your swing tackle anymore. He's going to be your starting guard. So the fact you needed a backup tackle who could eventually maybe develop into a Brian O'Neal replacement, you never really know. SKOL Shred loved the Rouse pick. Okay, took him in every mock he did. And again, it doesn't hurt to add more offensive linemen. And the fact that he is on there, he could potentially maybe have some possibility at guard. I think he's a little too big for that. But either way, you have a backup tackle who eventually could take over for a starter. I'm cool with it. Again, is it super sexy? No. Could you have taken a Christian Boyd on your interior? Sure. But it kind of is what it is.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I come to. I'll just go through this real quick. The experience: 52 starts, 84 pass block grade. Obviously, all that's good. 0 sacks a lot, really good. There is people that say that they think he could turn into a guard. He's not very athletic. That's kind of the reason why they think there's a chance that he could move to guard, which if that is the case, that would be a bump in my opinion. But the big one for me at this point was I still like in this draft, and I think with me and you for sure, Casey, but I'm sure a lot of us in here, we felt like we really needed to figure out something in defensive interior. And at this point in the draft, we still didn't, regardless if we traded up for Dallas Turner, at this point in the draft, we still did not get that figured out. And you did have a guy like another big dude with potential in Chris Boyd on the board. You had Wingo out of LSU who dropped quite a bit on the board as well. Both those guys got picked before our next pick. So I think for me, the main reason why I give this one a C is mostly because I need him a block, not to dunk a ball. The main reason why I give him C, though, is just because I felt like we could have went a different direction. I'm not really giving none of these guys D's or F's just because, I mean, it's hard to give a guy an F. None of us know. Nobody knows about, other than Joey, no one else out here looked into Walter Rouse,
Yeah.
But I ain't going to give a buddy an F and barely know who he is. But I'll give him a C.
I think that's fair.
So what do we get for as far as, I mean, it's not that I put B twice. So how would you grade Walter Rouse pick? A, B, or B, or D, or F?
I think a lot of people agreed that it's probably
like a C or D, C-ish grade. Yeah, I gave the Rouse pick a C. What up, FT Matty? So we're kind of going to go with the C with that. Yep. This is the other pick that was kind of all over the place with Viking fans, I think. Let me get it up here. And that is the boy, the future Justin Tucker of the Minnesota Vikings, Will Richard, NCAA.
I think it's Reichard.
Reichard. Oh, I've said that wrong on Bleacher Report. I had a feeling I was going to look it up too. Whatever.
And by the way, I'll let you go through all this, but the last point I saw how Bono bring it up earlier. It's not going to matter.
Okay.
Because of the new.
True.
So
that's a great
aren't
thing.
that important anymore.
Yeah. So NCAA's all-time points record holder hit 95% of his field goals. This one's very important for all us Greg Joseph, I guess non-believers we'll call them. Hit 295 out of 297 extra points in his entire career. Obviously, with Greg Joseph, he was missing quite a bit too many of those. So anyways, let me just give my opinion. I gave this a pick of B because a lot of people are like, why are we grabbing a kicker in the 6th round? Well, I'm like, all right, how many 6-rounders turn out on your team anyways? And you're talking about a player that could come in and we need one bad. We got John Parker Romo, who's coming from the XFL. Maybe he could be something. But we don't know what we don't know what he has in him. And this kid, it was like a prodigy coming out of high school, ends up being, like I said, the NCAA all-time point scoring record. And he's someone that can actually make an impact on your team right away. So I don't really get why people hate the ideas of picking a kicker in the 6th round or in general. I know there's a lot of kickers that get undrafted and then they can still be good. But I mean, name a lot of 6th-round picks that we've had in recent years that are still on our team right now. Right. And doing stuff.
And then the thing is that we may have started the run there, but after we drafted him, 2 more kickers went off the board in the next like 10 to 15 picks. So again, I think people just think that you don't need to worry about drafting a kicker because you can just find them, as you said, non-drafted free agency or just on the street or whatever. But I don't hate the pick. I get extra points are different in the NFL. We all know that. And I think I saw people talking about it earlier that his longest field goal is like 52 yards, and he barely made it over the goalpost. I don't. Or it is what it is. I mean, we needed a kicker. We need some competition in there. I don't hate drafting a kicker, especially if you view it. Hey, there's nobody else there right now that we view valuable in the 6th round. Let's get this guy who has a good enough leg to make it in the NFL. The kickoffs, again, no touchbacks. So the touchback issues don't matter now with the new XFL kickoff rules. I don't hate it, man.
He made 10 of it out of his.
Then you don't need to worry about competing. You just get to take him. You don't need to worry about competing against him
and we need a kicker. So I don't mind like bringing in a guy that you think has potential and putting him up. Like we need one bad. A kicker is really important. So if you pick up a guy like this and he ends up being a top 10 kicker in the NFL someday, I think all of us would be extremely happy with this pick, especially at 6th round. Obviously there's other things we can use.
He doesn't make, his longest field goal is 52 yards and he barely made it over. Well, JJ McCarthy at quarterback, we ain't gonna be kicking field goals. Who cares?
I didn't know about that 52-yard thing though. So I guess to be honest, that does scare me a little bit. And the leg part does matter. I mean, I think in the NFL, you need to be able to make 55-yarders and stuff like that. But we'll see. I mean, he made 10 out of 13 attempts over 50 yards. Back to Joey. I wanted to mention Joey's Joey's thing. Where was it? I think, extra points are for 2 feet from college. He was like 96% on field goals from 40 or less throughout his entire career.
Pretty much automatic.
Pretty much automatic from 40. So extremely accurate. It really just comes down to his leg. So, I mean, regardless, this dude is accurate from 40 or less. So maybe we just hold 2 kickers. We keep both of them on our roster and we just have Romo hit the 50 or longer and we bring Will Ricard?
Reichard, I think.
Reichard, whatever. Well, I'm just going to call him Richard here on out. Will Richard, that's your name now. Unless, hey, if he comes in and hits a clutch shot or something, takes over the job, I'll make sure I pronounce it correctly. But until he makes the team, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, hey, we'll do the 2 kicker thing. We'll see what happens. Why not? I won't be surprised if XFL. Yeah, there's a chance he could. I guess he won that. It looks like that dude has kind of turned into a stud recently. So at least you're putting some competition out there.
But here's the thing: if they don't view anybody worthwhile picking at that point, then why do it? Like again, draft, as Purple for the Win always says, drafting for needs keeps you drafting for need. Like you can't always just like,
which we
need
did
a guard, so we got to take a guard. This guy's the best available. We don't love him, but we'll grab him.
And we're talking in the 6th round here.
And Kwesi was pretty excited about the guy in the 7th round when he made it to his pick. He was pretty pumped about it.
Yeah,
and that does address the interior. So it's like I don't know. Again,
there's a chance that the guys that they wanted were there for them in the 7th round anyways.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, both those guys that they got, and we're going to get into it, were expected to not even be drafted. I'm just going to say that right now. They weren't even expected to be drafted. So they would have got their guys anyways. If this was earlier, even a 5th rounder, but late 6th round pick, I mean, you can't complain too much. Like, who cares? It's a kicker, it's 6th round pick. It'd be different if it was 3rd round, 4th round, something like that. But
and I do believe that if the Saints hadn't taken him a few picks before this, I do think Christian Boyd would have been the pick at 203.
I hope so, anyways.
But we'll never know.
Yep. We did get a 17% A, 25% B, 33% C, and a 25% D or an F. We'll call this a solid C. According to our chat here tonight, which I think is totally fair. I gave him a B. I think we need a kicker bad enough, at least because we got one that we don't know how well he's going to do. So getting some competition. And if this is a guy they felt like could be good, it'd be nice. So, let's move on here. We have 2 more picks from this year's draft. Starting with Michael Juergens, a guy, an interior offensive line, one that they're saying is most likely to be a center, has really good hands, nice size, 6'4", 311, not 211. That wouldn't be very nice. lacks court but is known to lack a lot of core strength. I guess he just gets pushed around quite a bit by defensive interior. And of course, like I mentioned already, he was expected to go undrafted and was not on the consensus 300 board. What's your thoughts on Michael Juergens?
Again, Kwesi was pretty excited to draft him from the looks of it. Again, good size, as height wise. Solid. I mean, solid in the interior. Where did he play? Wake Forest. Is that where he went?
Yeah.
From what I understand, I mean, solid player. I don't know, depth piece, and if he ends up being better than Bradbury, so be it.
Yeah. I mean, it's at this point in the draft, you're taking a shot on a guy that you could expect to maybe be your future there. Maybe, probably not. The reality is probably he isn't going to be, but maybe you never know.
Or he could. I think I heard someone say he could potentially be like your Austin Slotman. I think one bar Lepicus talked about that. He could be like your backup center guard if you need him.
Yeah, and it's 7th round pick for a reason. So, what does everybody else think about Michael Juergens?
Wait, was he actually 211 or was it supposed to be 311?
311. That's what I said.
I was going to say 211. I'm like, holy shit.
Well, that's what I said. He's nice size, 6'4", and I said 311, not 211, because that's not really nice.
Yeah.
But... yeah. Hey, a couple errors here. No big deal. I was doing this quick. All right.
Hey, you guys stream for 20 hours over the weekend? I think.
Bradbury light. I like Nick. Yeah, I know a lot of people did like him better. I'd give it a C. Kind of light on the weight though. Okay.
Yeah. Apologize.
Kind of light on. Oh, okay. That's hilarious. Just 211 pounds.
Imagine a 211 pound.
He's like just a little bit bigger than Kyrie Jackson, and he's going to play center. Hey, if that's the case, put some weight on this guy.
Baby. Let's go.
All right. So I'll just do this one quick. 12% A's, 12% B's, C, 62% C. I would just say we call this AC, it looks like, for the most part. And then
hell yeah.
Last but not least, in this draft, we got the one and only, coming straight from Game of Thrones, Jason Momoa, aka Levi Drake Rodriguez.
This guy's fun, man. This guy, like, I listened to a bit of his his draft press conference after he got picked. This guy's fun.
I mean, second highest.
We'll see.
He played for a small school, obviously, or what is it, A&M Commerce, small whatever.
School, just like
small
John
Texas
Randall.
School, but was the second highest graded defensive tackle in pass rush, according to PFF, of all defensive interior players in college. Small school, keep that in mind. Right behind Byron Murphy, the second. High motor, smaller, 290 pounds. Another guy that a lot of people thought he would go undrafted and was not in the top 300, not 300 consensus big board. But I think this is going to be a guy that's going to be an instant fan favorite, as far as people hoping that we see some good things out of him throughout the offseason and training camp and going into preseason and all of that kind of stuff. Again, 7th rounder. What will he really end up being? Who knows for sure. But at this point, I'm just glad that you grabbed someone on that defensive line. So I gave it a C+ just for that.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And he seems cool. I'll give it a C+ too. He looks like a berserker. Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, you never know. We got another guy actually who could be potentially something like that, kind of a little bit more.
Yeah, but that's the draft class before we get into UDFA's. Again, that first round for me was an absolute win. Did Kwesi give up a lot draft chart wise? Sure, but I love the fact he just said, F it, fuck it. I'm being aggressive. I'm getting the guys I want, and he went and got them. And Dallas Turner at 17 to me might be one of the steals of the first round, and I'm ecstatic about that one. And getting JJ McCarthy, I have high hopes for him. I love the fact that Kevin O'Connell has a plan in place for player development when it comes to McCarthy. That, as I said, that first round to me, I'd have been cool after that, but I liked I liked some of the things I saw from Jackson. That's a good pick to me, and everything else, we'll see how it works.
See how everyone else feels about this pick right here. Let's just look at our media. Couple 8 votes so far, 38% A, 38% B, 25%. Sure. Okay, we got a lot of people who really like this pick. We got some
LDR fans out here.
See, look at fan favorite. It's already happened, and he hasn't even done anything yet. Other than look like Jason Momoa.
I've heard a lot of people talking, kind of comparing him. Remember Hercules Mataafa from 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Kind of a guy like that.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, a lot of A, 42% A, 33% B, 25% C.
Okay. Well,
Interesting, interesting.
we
So
got some
before
Levi
we
Drake Rodriguez fans
I'll,
out there. I
I'm
like it.
gonna I'm gonna do the thing where, because I know everybody wants to say Kwesi has nothing to do with undrafted free agents. This is why I'm putting that into our draft. I'm grading it as a whole, including that, because I do think, regardless if you think so or not, Kwesi does have to like a player enough to be the first one to call them. Ivan Pace Jr. said last year the reason why he picked the Vikings was because Kwesi was the first one to call him. So if there's any priority free agents, undrafted free agents for him, he knows who he likes and he goes and gets them. And that's exactly what he did again today, or this past year, 2 years in a row, undrafted. He picked up 17 undrafted free agents. This was yesterday. I don't know if we grabbed any more today.
These two are huge.
But these were the two main ones. Gabriel Murphy was number 111 on consensus big board, was supposed to go around the pick that we picked Kyrie Jackson at. And then Dwight McLaughlin, 189 consensus, a 5th round pick himself. So this is the thing with Gabriel Murphy, and I know everybody already is talking about this, and the chances of him being anything or making the impact that the boy Ivan Pace Jr. have is slim. But you get another guy that is athletic and that has produced in college football, but is considered too small for his position, and is another reason why people think he is dropped. And we're in the same situation that we were last year with Ivan Pace Jr., and they're both supposed to go around the same time. So, hey, what do you think on these undrafted free agents? That's why I gave it an A+. First off, Gabriel, these were two of the top undrafted free agencies to go, just like last year with Ivan Pace and Andre Carter. You got the number 1 outside linebacker, defensive end, whatever you want to call it, in free agency, and then McLaughlin was the number 1 cornerback there as well. So you got both of those. To me, automatic A+ in my opinion. Yeah, honestly, I like both these players better than anybody we picked after Jackson. So
yeah, I would agree. Murphy, again, with the two guys with Van Ginkel and Grenard that we signed, and Dallas Turner coming in, you have Patrick Jones still. Like, he's going to have a shot to make an impact. But I think Dwight McLaughlin, again, as we talked about with that cornerback room, a lot of unproven guys in there. Like, I think he could come in and have a chance to really make an impact right away. So, I don't know. You got to love it. You got to love it.
Dude, definitely. Let me see what everybody else thinks.
And then at the end of the day, the final question we should have is, did Kwesi cook, yes or no? Because I think he absolutely cooked me up a 5-course meal, and I love it.
Boom, boom, boom. Hold on a sec. I need to see what everyone else's opinion is on this.
I agree with that, Gary, for sure. It's solid outside of rookie year hiccups.
Boom. All right. We threw the poll out here. Nice work, gentlemen. Murphy and McLaughlin are legit. Murphy has short. We appreciate you, George Blunt. Arms, McLaughlin. Yeah, Murphy has short arms. McLaughlin's a little stiff. Both have huge upsides. And undrafted free agent. Can't go wrong with that.
Exactly.
Can't go wrong with that.
He was a chef. Yes, he cooked his ass off. Oh, I love it. UDFA nose tackles a guy like who else?
I forgot what his name is. I know who you're talking about though.
Ooh, Skull Shred. You switch it up. I like that.
I was a crazy
and a big thing was he was just aggressive. He didn't trade. Like, he was aggressive and went and got what he wanted.
Yeah, this first round in the most important positions in football.
Yeah, but now they have to work out, and that's the big thing. And now it kind of comes down to he got the players. Now it's kind of you push him off to Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores and be like, all right, guys, do your thing. I did mine. You do yours.
We got an A for the undrafted free agents, and 82% A, 18% B, 0 C's, 0 D's or F's. Kwesi cooks in undrafted free agents for whatever reason, but he does. And hey, you can say whatever you want after 1 year. Maybe it has nothing to do with Kwesi after young, but he does it twice in a row. That has something to do with Kwesi. It's just it does. It is what it is. Don't forget Ty James. He's the next Thielen. I have to check him out. I didn't dig too far into a lot of these undrafted free agents yet. I just grabbed the two big names that were supposed to be drafted a lot earlier, and I put them in here. But anyways, back to the big question. Just like Casey mentioned, did Kwesi cook?
Kwesi.
I gave this an A overall. I do think I would have given it an A+. The only reason why I didn't is
Taki, is it the Taki?
Because we didn't get a defensive interior.
Taimani, is that the guy you're talking about? The nose tackle? Because I think that was the guy I'd actually heard we also brought in on a top 30 visit as well.
Ooh. Oh, wait, where did the background go on here? There we go. Boom. There we go. So yeah, I mean, overall, A+ first round. He, like Casey said, he did exactly what he's supposed to do, and he went and got his guys something we wanted. He got JJ McCarthy without giving away the second first round pick, and was able to use that to get Dallas Turner, two cornerstones on the most important positions in football, arguably, especially on offense and defense. And then on top of that, I think Kyrie Jackson was actually a really good value pick when we got him. I do think he's a guy that you can put back there, and hopefully you see something out of him pretty early in his career. I think at that point it did make a lot of sense. The one thing with that pick though is I know Dorless was out there still from Oregon, and that was a guy that kind of dropped. And if we would have just got him there, I would have been pretty happy. I probably would have given this an A+ just for that, because you would have got the biggest position of need. But if Jackson's their guy and Brian Flores' guy, Brian Flores came in here and he got Mekhi Blackman, who arguably could end up being the number one cornerback going into this season on our team. So let Brian Flores go get his guy. He did it again. So hopefully that's kind of how that rolls out for us there.
That's by the way, that Taki Taimani, 6'3", 330. So if he can turn out, it's a good size. I like that.
What is it?
That defensive tackle, Taki Taimani, 6'3", 330.
All right, let me get this final poll out here. All right. Boom. Boom. Let's see what everybody thinks of this draft. Overall, like Casey said, did Quasi cook. Hey, I just can't. It's taken me a while, honestly. I was telling this to Casey because I've been so busy this past weekend that I haven't really been able to really think wow, we just grabbed what we think we just did it. We went and grabbed JJ McCarthy to be our franchise quarterback. The first time that I've seen that since Christian Ponder that we actually went. This one was even you went and got your guy. This wasn't we're waiting here and we feel like we need to get Christian Ponder. This was JJ McCarthy's our guy. We did wait for him to get down, but we went up and grabbed him one spot, made sure we got him. I'm super excited about that with JJ McCarthy.
I agree, man. I agree, Joey, for sure. If we just had the first round, I'd be cool. Give an A- because of some of the late round choices. And that's the thing. With those late round choices, it's such a dartboard thing. Everyone has different opinions on that. It's tough. I wouldn't want to be a GM drafted. We've done that in our mock draft. We're I don't know. I guess we'll just take the top guy available. Whatever.
Oh, Crazy knew though. Crazy knew. He knew at least in the first round for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I'm excited. It's still hitting me though. It's still hitting me. That's why I don't know.
89%.
Hopefully we see a lot of stuff.
Solid grade. And again, it all would I have liked to have seen a nose tackle or a defensive interior guy? Absolutely. I mean, we've been needing that for a long, long time. But I understand that Dallas Turner at that point was too much. Was too hard to pass up if there was a path for you to go get him.
Yeah. Again, everybody, about to give away the next face of the NBA, Anthony Edwards rookie card. I ran out of Viking cards. I mentioned that earlier. I'm going to work on getting, it has to be Michigan, but I'm going to work on getting some JJ McCarthy cards. But at the very least, I mean, this is value right here as it gets. So Anthony Edwards rookie card. Dude's going to be, he's already a star. He's going to be a superstar. Let's go. Get those hashtag SKOLs in the comments, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're about to give this away.
Yep. If you're here on Twitter or on YouTube, make sure you hit that sub button if you haven't already. We do this every week.
Every week. Yeah. Come over here. YouTube, subscribe, like our video here. If you're on Twitter, like it. Like the video on Twitter. We'd appreciate that as well. Any traction we can get. We got to beat these algorithms. They make them tough. They make them really tough. And with the way Minnesota sports is going right now, actually, how the Twins play today? Because they were Twins 7-game win streak.
Thumping some shitty teams. But hey,
it doesn't matter. 7 wins in a row? Come on, that's crazy. 7 wins.
They are tied 2-2, bottom of the second in Chicago.
Ooh, okay. So definitely a chance. But they're on a win streak. the Timberwolves sweep the Suns after losing to them 3 times in the 0-3 in the regular season to come and get the sweep, with Anthony Edwards showing why he is an absolute superstar and is the next great player in the NBA and the next great athlete in general. We grab our quarterback of the future for the Minnesota Vikings and the future defensive pass rusher on this team, the guy that's going to be able to fill Danielle Hunter's shoes. Another underrated thing about that, though, I do want to actually talk about real quick, is just the fact that you did get younger at these positions. You let Kirk Cousins go. You let Danielle Hunter go. You do get JJ McCarthy on a rookie contract. You get Dallas Turner on his rookie contract. And the best part about it is we should get a comp pick, probably 2 third-round comp picks for Danielle Hunter and for Kirk Cousins, which is another reason why it made a little bit of sense to go and grab Dallas Turner, with the idea of we'll probably get a couple of those next year. Not just that, we'll probably get other comp picks, and hopefully we still get a pick from the Falcons next year for tampering. But yeah, so that was the big one. Yeah. Comp picks next year. Exactly. So that's an underrated thing about this whole situation with grabbing Dallas Turner and just going younger, cheaper, and get a couple comp picks out of it. 3rd-round comp picks. I mean, that's huge.
And you're going to have all that money to spend on depth.
So this year is going to be getting JJ ready for 2025. And I think we'll still have a really solid season this year, honestly. But I think this is really like 2025 season. This is what happens when you draft a rookie quarterback. We all knew that. It wasn't ready to compete this year, but we're going to be ready to go as soon as 2025 , man.
Right. And that's what the biggest thing is. And the biggest thing is, Kevin O'Connell, stick to your plan. Again, if Darnold is struggling, but you don't feel like that JJ McCarthy is ready to go and he hasn't hit your thresholds and your benchmarks that you've set for him, trust the process. Hopefully the front office, or hopefully the ownership, is giving you a little bit of time here, but don't put JJ out before he's ready, because as I said, that article came out that said that they've done studies on quarterbacks and realized you can't put them out there too early. Duh. And like a lot of times quarterbacks don't get the true like sit for a year and learn the game and start when you're ready, like kind of like Chiefs do with Mahomes. Stick to your guns. If he comes out and he's ready to go week 1 and you feel like he's done everything that you've asked of him and he's ready to go, perfect. Have a Russell Wilson type thing where he's ready to start. But otherwise, put in Darnold and just let it ride. Let it develop.
That's a thing especially with JJ McCarthy, only because he's coming from like we said, he's coming from a pro style offense, but it's so much different than a Harbaugh offense. Completely different. I mean, you're going from run first constantly to KOC, where it's nothing but passing for the most part. And it's so different. So I do think there is going to be this time for just JJ to get involved into this offense.
And that's the thing. Kevin O'Connell's offense is going to ask you to do a lot. Like as we saw with Kirk Cousins, there's checks at the line. There's making a ton of throws. There's deep shots. Like Kevin O'Connell incorporates, even on some 3rd and shorts, he incorporates deep throws. So like with the Kevin O'Connell offense, like you're going to be expected to do a lot more than you were at Michigan. And that's what I love. I think we're really going to see what JJ McCarthy has. We're going to see his growth and see how well he handles it all. And the big thing is, like, if he did end up starting this year, I feel like we'd be just fine. Like, I feel like he's the type of quarterback that can run your offense and just like basically be a game manager for a year while he learns how the game works. And eventually O'Connell just kind of coaches him along. So
yeah, man,
I hope it doesn't come. I don't think it's going to come down to that though. I don't think that he's going to get into a game until they feel like he can do everything that a quarterback in Kevin O'Connell's offense needs to do.
But I would also say if he could be ready, like more ready than any of us, like earlier than any of us expect, honestly. If there's any quarterback with the way his leadership is and the way his mentality is, if he's ready a lot earlier than a lot of us think, I would not be surprised by that. No, maybe not week one. You almost don't even want to force week one, even if he's ready, right?
Right.
Just because you just, I don't know. But who knows? Maybe he just tears it up in preseason, hopefully. But let's give away this card. Anthony Edwards, rookie card. Man, Anthony Edwards is the shit. Let's go. Who's winning this card tonight? Got to be here to win. Y'all already know the rules. Y'all already know the rules.
And the difference between him and JJ is he's already locked up.
Boom. Too evil. Too evil. It's been a minute. I haven't heard him in a while.
I haven't seen him in a bit, though. I don't know if he's still here.
He came in here and gave JJ an F and left. Too evil. Too evil's on a man. Too evil wins so much. Last time he just gave the card away to Rap. That dude's I mean, I don't know. All this trolling just works, I guess.
We'll give him some time to see if he's still here, which I don't think he is. It's been a bit. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, too evil. Exciting times, though, guys. Exciting times, man. Minnesota sports have never been so great.
It really hasn't been. It really hasn't been.
This is top of my life easily. This is the first quarterback that we literally get to see and be like, okay, we wanted this guy, and now he's here. He's KOC's guy, whatever. And then, man, with Anthony Edwards and that Minnesota team, who knows? Possibilities. If we can get past the Nuggets, we could win the whole thing. All right, sorry to evil. I think it's time to rerun this bad boy. Boom, 3, 2, 1. Who do we got next? Who do we got next? Boom, boom. Come on. And we've got SKOL Mafia coming in at the end here. My guy. My guy. He gets Anthony Edwards card. I don't even know if you're the Edwards fan, but hey, you take it. It's time to hop on board, SKOL Mafia, if you're not. It's time to jump on the Timberwolves bandwagon, especially starting with this card right now. It's time. Anthony Edwards is him. They tease you, Sarah. I know Sarah's time again. Sarah needs to come back and hit one of these. Let's go. Anthony Edwards, the truth. Rigged. All right. Any final thoughts on the Vikings draft? I mean, we've went through the final thoughts probably like 5 times here, but it's just exciting, man. That first round was ridiculous, and it could have not been a better scenario to the point where I just didn't give a shit about pretty much the rest of the rounds, honestly.
You got your quarterback. You got arguably the top defensive player in the class.
And Kwesi shows you again, he's an undrafted free agent master.
Yeah. So I love it. I'm ready for the season to get here. Now, the biggest thing is now, especially McCarthy, he's got to work out. Absolutely has to. And I don't know. I mean, they wouldn't make the move and go. They wouldn't make the move and go get him if they didn't feel like he was the guy that they thought he could.
And obviously, it's hard to say. Like we've been saying, right. He has that big question. Even I think for every team, that question mark, it's impossible to answer it unless you actually seen it. He can say all he wants. He does act like he has all those things, and and you gotta love that from him. But there is that big question mark regardless. But it feels like at the very least, which I don't want this, of course, we want him to be a franchise quarterback, but he seems like his floor will be like a game manager quarterback that still could potentially win you or probably still be good at winning games. But
I saw NFL Network, and I hate that this was their like ceiling comparison, but their comparison was Alex Smith, and I could 100% see that.
I think Alex Smith is his bottom
as a lower level of where he can.
Yeah, floor Alex Smith, height. Athletic Tom Brady. Let's go. Athletic Tom Brady. Let's go. It's like Tom Brady. If Tom Brady and Mahomes had a kid, it'd be JJ McCarthy, baby. Let's go. Future of the Vikings. Let's go.
And Joey, this is a real big one here. It's like, and that's where I was the most excited. Like, he didn't like play around. He was patient enough, but when he felt like it was the time to go make a swing and go get your guys, he made a swing. Did he lose on the trade charts? Sure, but he won in the hearts of Vikings fans at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anything else?
And he had a good, and his free agency was baller too.
Absolutely.
Other than defensive interior was the only thing we kind of fucked up on.
Yeah. And then they were talking about it on the fan this morning, how Kwesi kind of said like,
"Yep, Roger, that's the card's on its way. The card should be on its way, man."
But I think Kwesi mentioned like, they were talking about it on the fan this morning, how it's kind of like once the wheels get in motion, it is kind of a 2-year plan here, and like that's it. Like this year was get to where you want to be from a cap space perspective, move on from some bigger contracts, draft your guy at quarterback, draft some pieces around him, have money going into 2025 to where when you have fewer picks, you can still get a guy in the first round. They can use the rest of the money to supplement it. I think we're finally starting to hit the stride of Kwesi's plan here. And I absolutely love it. And well, I'm sure on Wednesday, Dave will want to talk about the plan because we know how Dave is and when it comes to Kwesi's plan.
Hey, let's go, Johnny.
James McCarthy. I like
Jonathan James McCarthy. 2 Johnnies. Let's go. What's up, dude? What's up? Dude, I don't know, man. It's just
Johnny, so we're supposed to hop
Crazy
off here.
something.
What is your draft grade? Overall draft grade for the Vikings?
Yeah, John, if you're still in here, what did you give that overall draft grade? Actually, I still have the poll up, to be honest. We have 71% A, 24% B, 6% C. Steve, even though he's probably long gone here. Steve or too evil. D or F, 0%. B plus.
Okay.
Johnny gives it a B plus. A plus first round. I already know that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's just we're gonna have to talk about JJ McCarthy all the time throughout, all the way until preseason, forever, pretty much here on out. Maybe it's an A minus. We'll take A minus.
He's gonna keep climbing. You know what? Fuck it, A plus. All in.
Yeah, fuck it, A plus. But yeah, man. No, we just get to talk about this kid forever. But
I hope so.
Hopefully. And actually, so one cool thing I want to say, my buddy Joe, his wife is a cheerleader for the Vikings, and she was invited to go to the draft as like the cheerleader representative of the Vikings. And right after the JJ pick, it went right to her. So hopefully he does well. So her video lasts forever. And then also my little JJ McCarthy take on Bleacher Report today, or what, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday I did a stream on there, had my whole JJ thing, and then they put it on the front page of Bleacher Report, so that got pushed out there. So for many Viking fans that watch Bleacher Report, my face will always probably kind of be linked with giving an A+ grade to McCarthy and calling him the future franchise of the Vikings. So we kind of need him to work out now, so that way, I can look like I know what I'm talking about,
Yep. Absolutely. But thank you everybody for hopping in. Yeah. I mean, this was the first time Jamie and I actually got to sit down and talk about the draft and these picks. And it sounds like we're both in agreement pretty much with everybody else that we killed it. We got our guy added to the defense with Dallas Turner. Couldn't be any more excited. As we said, we'll talk about it some more on Wednesday, I'm sure, as we'll be on with Dave. I believe that'll be on our channel this time on Wednesday, right? We were on Dave's last week. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be on, it'll be on GG Sports Podcast channel on Wednesday. Make sure to join us there. Again, hope everybody had a great draft weekend. Now it's time to get on to the fun stuff, the off season. I think the schedule release, they said, is going to, like, some people are thinking it might be next week.
Yeah.
As early as next week, early May, which means then we'll start SKOL Fest planning.
Yeah, let's
doing a lot of type of stuff. So,
which I know we'll see all you guys there.
Absolutely. Sure. So even though the draft's over, there's still a lot of fun stuff to happen. But thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you guys. Oh,
go Wolves.
Go Wolves,
baby.
Owl, baby. Wolves back.
Yeah.
Go.
But all right, everybody
for watching. See you on Wednesday.
SKOL Vikes.